Things weren't getting better, they were only getting worse. And to make matters worse, there was no indication of why she was even getting sick. Her daughter was worried sick, but no one could help when it was a mystery. They started working while she rested on the couch. It was hard to stand up for extended periods, but then there was a big commotion, and they came straight back into the room to tell her what they found. Kathy Wilson always tried to do the best for her daughter. The 41-year-old who lived in Shelbyville her entire life always felt confident that she wasn't unfit. But things changed rapidly. Kathy's mystery illness started without warning over a decade ago, and it never improved, it only got worse. She just assumed it was stress, but her daughter wanted the help she needed. Kathy's family, especially her daughter, was sick and tired of hearing her mother dismiss her symptoms. Her condition started with just a cough, but these days she had muscle pain and always felt tired. This meant that Kathy's daughter was sick to her stomach with worry. But Kathy wouldn't do the one thing her daughter wanted: see a professional for help. Before seeking a doctor, Kathy tried using over-the-counter tablets. She tried using vitamins like B, C, zinc, iron, and E, but even months after taking the pills, she wasn't getting any better. Ashley hated hearing her mother moan about her illness but never seek a doctor. She also hated seeing her suffer. She finally agreed to go to a doctor and got a note excusing her from work. But after heading home from the doctor, Kathy felt exactly the same. But then things got even worse as the weeks crept by. It had never gotten so bad so rapidly. Then Ashley decided to take matters into her own hands once again. Kathy's appetite soon diminished along with her energy. She even started losing a lot of weight. Kathy was otherwise a strong and healthy woman in her prime. She should have recovered from the illness if it was just the flu. Now he was very concerned. Things weren't good. The doctor in question was Dr. Maybeth Hensley. She felt that Kathy's condition had gotten a lot worse. She decided to take extra precautions and run blood and allergy tests. But the tests gave her the strangest result. They said she was healthy. Kathy's condition, like always, started getting worse. She now had full body aches and the fatigue would overwhelm her. Then her mental health started getting worse. Everyone around her was worried for her sake. It was hard for Ashley, who had now taken her mother to the doctor twice with no conclusive results. She just didn't want there to be a third time where she was even worse. What was wrong with her mother? Ashley witnessed her mother's deterioration firsthand, and she also knew in her heart that something just wasn't right. Kathy, determined to get to the bottom of her illness, searched for her symptoms online. She spoke to experts in online chats, and she tried herbal treatments and natural remedies, but nothing seemed to be helping. Kathy visited her doctor regularly over the next 10 years. Dr. Hensley provided Kathy with the best care and tested for everything. She arranged contractors to take care of the job, but shortly after they made a shocking discovery. The contractor's forehead crumpled with concern when he asked Kathy when her water heater had been installed. Kathy knew that it had been installed years before she had gotten sick, and Ashley must have been a little girl at the time. She thought hard and replied, "Maybe 10 years ago?" The contractors were horrified. They had discovered that the furnace and water heater, fitted incorrectly, were causing trace amounts of carbon monoxide to escape and leak into the house over an extended period of time. But isn't carbon monoxide poisonous? Carbon monoxide is colorless and odorless, invisible to the eye. This makes the gas a silent killer. When the body is exposed to it, the gas displaces oxygen in the blood. This exposure causes serious damage to the heart, brain, and vital organs. Everything was finally falling into place. Would this explain Kathy's strange symptoms? Even a small exposure to CO can cause chest pains, fatigue, nausea, headaches, and vertigo. But prolonged exposure can have serious effects, including vomiting, muscle weakness, fainting, and confusion. Some cases of CO poisoning even result in death. But how had she been misdiagnosed again and again? After years of searching for answers from specialists and healthcare professionals, Kathy had lost hope. But now Kathy's decade-long symptoms suddenly all made sense. The most unexpected visitors had finally given her an answer. But could she ever forgive the doctors after all the years of neglect? Kathy hasn't felt this good in years. She got so much more than just a new bathroom from the contractors. She got her life back. She's thrilled to have her body, mind, and spirit healed. She couldn't believe that her health was improving. After so many years, she had nearly given up all hope of ever recovering, but things weren't completely over yet. The fact was that all of her pain and torment had been due to negligence in the first place. Whoever installed her heater properly had nearly gotten away with murder, but she was glad it didn't come to that. Kathy is well on her way to recovery after all the years of being exposed to poison, but there is still an element of concern to this story. Kathy wishes that she had pushed harder for a diagnosis. She had been called crazy, delusional, and a hypochondriac for a decade because the tests were negative. She was prescribed the usual bed rest, exercise, or pills, but nothing helped. No one could give her the answers. But Kathy was right to trust her instincts. Even though she had to wait for 10 years for an answer, she is grateful. Although the carbon monoxide she had been inhaling for a decade had taken a toll on her and her voice was still hoarse, Kathy's strength slowly began to return. Now that the leak in the water heater had been fixed, the fatigue, nausea, chest pains, and headaches became a thing of the past. Although the faulty water tank and carbon monoxide had stolen 10 years of her life, things were looking up. She told the doctors to look out for these signs in other patients and hoped that they could spread the word and perhaps also a lesson that everyone could learn. But Kathy doesn't have time to sit and regret. She would much rather look forward to the many happy years she now has to enjoy with her daughter. But she wanted people to know what she went through so they don't make the same mistake. Kathy looks forward to her newfound energy in her new life, and she hopes that her story will raise awareness about the dangers of carbon monoxide. But she's not alone. According to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, about 8,000 to 15,000 people receive treatment in hospitals for carbon monoxide poisoning. But in some cases, the symptoms might be misdiagnosed, which can lead to dire consequences. Every year, more than 400 people die from exposure to the silent killer, and the flu is the #1 misdiagnosis for CO poisoning. So what can we do? Any expert will tell you that no home should be without a carbon monoxide detector, but make sure they're near the bedrooms and placed 5 feet above the ground. That way the carbon monoxide detectors can alert you of this silent threat before it can affect you and your loved ones. But how is carbon monoxide poisoning detected and treated? The symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning include headaches, dizziness, shortness of breath, nausea, weakness, and confusion. Once an individual suspects carbon monoxide poisoning, they should get out into fresh air immediately and go straight into emergency care at their nearest hospital. The doctor will test a sample of blood for carbon dioxide to confirm the diagnosis and begin treatment immediately. In the emergency room, the patient will be given pure oxygen through a mask placed over their nose and mouth. The oxygen will saturate the organs and tissues with oxygen-rich blood. In some cases, patients need hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy entails spending time in a pressurized oxygen chamber to speed up the replacement of carbon monoxide with oxygen in the blood.